Over many years of observing Warren Buffett, I have come to realize that he thinks very deeply about money and about how people use it in their lives. Not in a theoretical sense, but based on what he has personally experienced through many ups and downs of the market. Over time, Buffett developed a very clear understanding of how money flows, how wealth is built step by step, and how it can slowly disappear when discipline is missing. What stands out the most is that the principles he believes in are very simple. These ideas often go against common thinking. They are not flashy. They are not designed to impress. They are not based on complex strategies. When you listen to Buffett speak, it becomes clear that most of his financial truths are very direct and practical. Some of his ideas may surprise people at first. Some may even feel uncomfortable. This is because they go against what modern society often celebrates. He does not encourage showing off wealth. He does not support excessive spending. Instead, he focuses on long-term stability and quiet consistency. Over time, these so-called unconventional principles have proven to be extremely effective. They are also shared by many successful investors that Buffett has mentioned over the years. Buffett often says that his goal is not to create quick ways to get rich. He does not believe in shortcuts. Instead, he wants to share fundamental rules that work in every economic environment. These are not motivational slogans. They are practical guidelines tested through real-life experience. According to him, if someone truly understands these rules and patiently follows them, financial stability and long-term wealth become almost unavoidable. However, Buffett also acknowledges that not everyone is willing to accept these ideas. Some of his views challenge beliefs people have held for many years. They force people to reconsider their spending habits, their relationship with money, and their lifestyle choices. This discomfort is exactly why most people choose to ignore them, rather than make real changes. From what I have observed, Buffett believes that many people prefer comforting answers over honest ones. They want explanations that allow them to continue living the same way. But he often emphasizes that if someone wants different financial results, they must adopt a different mindset. You cannot expect new outcomes while holding on to old habits. One of Buffett's most surprising ideas is that income is not the most important factor. According to him, what truly matters is the portion of income you keep. In other words, your savings rate. Many people believe that earning more money will automatically solve their problems. They dream of higher pay, better positions, and bigger salaries. Buffett sees this as a common illusion. Through many stories he has shared, it becomes clear that he has met many high-income earners who save almost nothing. They spend everything they make. Some even spend more than they earn. At the same time, he has known many people with average incomes who gradually became wealthy. The difference was not luck, it was discipline. They saved consistently. They lived below their means. They invested patiently over long periods of time. Buffett often emphasizes that this repeated discipline is what truly creates wealth. According to him, the gap between income and expenses is what really matters. This gap represents your savings rate, and it directly determines how fast you build wealth. Once you understand this principle, your view of money changes completely. He often gives simple examples to explain this idea. If you only keep a small portion, you must work many years to support 1 year of living. But if you maintain a high savings rate, the time needed to reach financial freedom becomes much shorter. This is not a personal opinion. It is basic mathematical truth. That is why, from Buffett's perspective, high income without savings has very little real value. On the other hand, people with modest incomes, but strong saving habits have a major long-term advantage. Buffett believes many people resist this truth because earning more money feels easier and more attractive than controlling spending. society celebrates high income, but it rarely celebrates financial discipline. From what I have seen, Buffett never focused on chasing the highest possible salary. Instead, he focused on maximizing his savings rate and investing wisely. Because of this approach, even in his early years, when his income was limited, he was able to build a strong financial foundation. Every dollar he did not spend, in his view, became a worker for his future. Over time, compound growth did the rest. The most important rule that Buffett consistently emphasizes is very simple. Control your savings rate, not just your income. If a person can maintain a high savings rate for many years, the path to financial freedom is almost guaranteed. No matter how much money you earn, the formula remains the same. High savings lead to prosperity. Low savings lead to financial pressure. This is true at every income level. The second important rule about money that Warren Buffett often emphasizes is that debt is the complete opposite of wealth. This idea is difficult for many people to fully understand. Put simply, every dollar you borrow is a dollar you no longer truly own. When you are in debt, a portion of your assets belongs to someone else. Most people do not view debt this way. They separate debt from their overall financial picture. For example, many people say, I am worth $200,000 because their house is worth that much, but they ignore the fact that they still owe the bank $180,000. In reality, your true net worth is what you own, minus what you owe. Assets minus liabilities show your real position. Every dollar of debt is a hidden force that slows you down instead of helping you move forward. It quietly pulls you backward. What makes debt even more dangerous is interest. Interest slowly removes your future financial excitement. When you are in debt, you are digging a financial hole, and that hole gets deeper every single month. Each month, you are paying money just for the privilege of staying in debt. The interest you pay could have been invested. It could have grown and worked for you. Instead, it is transferred to someone else. It is gone forever. Let us look at a real example. Credit card debt often carries very high interest rates, sometimes close to 20% per year. If you owe $10,000, you could pay nearly $2,000 in interest every year. That money does not increase your assets. It does not create income. It does not bring freedom. It is simply lost. Now imagine a different situation. You have no debt at all. Instead, you invest that same amount every year. Over several decades, with reasonable returns, you could build hundreds of thousands of dollars. This shows the true cost of debt. It is not just the original amount. It is also the future wealth you give up. Because of interest, Buffett believes this hidden cost is the most dangerous part. Debt steals your opportunity to let money work for you. Instead of building wealth, your money creates wealth for someone else. Throughout his life, Buffett avoided unnecessary debt, except for reasonable home loans. And even then, he paid them off quickly. He kept them small by design because he understood their long-term impact. Today, many people accept debt easily for cars, for credit cards, for personal spending, for education. They do not think deeply about the consequences. They focus only on the monthly payment. They tell themselves, I can afford this. They rarely look at the total cost over many years. They rarely consider the growth they are losing. That is why the second rule is very clear. Treat debt like poison. It may not harm you immediately, but over time, it weakens your ability to build wealth. Every dollar paid in interest loses its power to compound forever. Buffett always encourages people to eliminate debt completely as soon as possible. If you cannot pay your full credit card balance each month, you should not use it. If you borrow money to buy things you do not truly need, you are borrowing from your future self. Only when you are free from debt can you begin to build real wealth. As long as you are in debt, you are climbing out of a hole, and no one becomes wealthy while stuck in a hole. The third deeper rule relates to capital. The more capital you have, the easier it becomes to generate more. Wealth does not grow in a straight line. It grows exponentially. When you invest a small amount and earn returns, the results seem small. This often feels discouraging. But when your capital becomes large, the same rate of return produces very different outcomes. Your gains become meaningful. Sometimes they exceed your work income. That is why building the first large amount is the hardest part. When you start from zero, mathematics is working against you. Progress feels slow. But once you pass certain milestones, growth begins to change. Charlie Munger often says, the first milestone is the hardest. After that, compound growth becomes powerful. Your money begins to work harder than you do. When investment income exceeds work income, you have reached financial independence. At that point, exponential growth becomes your strongest ally. Sadly, most people never reach this stage. They believe wealth grows slowly and evenly. After saving for 1 year and seeing very little progress, they give up. They do not realize that growth accelerates. From zero to the first amount is the hardest. From that point, the doubling happens faster, and it keeps accelerating. That is why the third rule is this: understand exponential growth. The early stage is the hardest. Push through it. Stay consistent. Reach your first milestones. Then watch your wealth grow faster. The fourth surprising rule goes against society. You do not need exceptional intelligence to become wealthy. What you truly need is discipline. Society teaches that wealthy people must be geniuses. They must have high degrees. They must have special talent. In business and investing, Buffett believes this is mostly a myth. Most financially successful people are not extraordinary. They are consistent. They are patient. They follow clear plans. They maintain discipline. For many years, over many years of observing and listening to Warren Buffett, I came to understand something very important. He has met many people who are extremely intelligent. They learn very quickly. They analyze deeply. They understand complex ideas. However, many of them struggle financially. They fail to build lasting and durable wealth. At the same time, some of the wealthiest people he knows are not geniuses. They are not highly educated. Yet they have achieved stable and long-term financial success. According to Buffett, the real difference is not intelligence. It is not education. It is not talent. It is discipline. It is the ability to control behavior over long periods of time. No matter how emotions change, no matter how circumstances change, it is the discipline to save even when spending feels tempting. It is the strength to delay short-term pleasure for long-term goals. It is also the discipline to invest consistently, to remain steady, even when markets are unstable, even when negative news is everywhere, even when fear is spreading. It is the discipline to live below your income, not just for a few years, but for decades. This quiet persistence is what creates lasting difference. Ironically, very intelligent people can sometimes be at a disadvantage. They tend to overthink. They search for the perfect investment, the perfect strategy, the perfect timing. They analyze, they adjust, they compare, they hesitate again and again. Meanwhile, disciplined people simply act, they invest regularly, they stay the course, they keep building. Buffett has openly admitted that he never believed he was the smartest person in the room. Around him were many people who understood complex financial instruments, advanced mathematical models, and difficult market theories that he did not fully master, yet over the long run, he outperformed most of them. Not because he was smarter, but because he was more consistent. He invested only in what he understood. He followed clear systems. He did not panic during market crashes. He did not chase popular trends. He repeated simple actions again and again with patience. This is not genius. This is discipline. And in building wealth, discipline almost always beats raw intelligence. So Buffett advises people not to believe that you must be extremely smart to become wealthy. That belief is wrong. What you truly need is stronger discipline. Discipline to save, discipline to invest, discipline to follow your plan for many years, even for decades. If you can do this, you will outperform many talented people who lack persistence. Buffett has seen this happen countless times throughout his life. Therefore, rule number 4 is clear. Discipline matters more than intelligence. Master your financial behavior. Do not chase complex theories. This brings us to rule number 5, a truth most people ignore. How you earn money matters far less than how you use it after you receive it. Many people become obsessed with their careers. They work extremely hard for long hours. They chase promotions. They change jobs. They return to school, all for the goal of earning more income. Trying to earn more money is not wrong. But many people forget one thing. They focus on earning money and forget managing money. If income rises and spending rises the same way, there is no real progress. In many cases, stress increases, pressure grows, happiness declines. Buffett has met doctors with very high incomes who are always short on money. He has also known teachers with modest salaries who built significant wealth. The difference is not profession. It is the savings rate. It is how much they keep from what they earn. A janitor with low income who saves and invests consistently over many years can still become a millionaire. A lawyer with high income who spends everything will never truly be wealthy. Mathematics never lies. With patience and consistency, results eventually appear. Do not let your career success blind you to your financial foundation. Work hard, increase your income, but focus even more on managing your money. The most sustainable wealth does not come from massive salaries. It comes from high savings rates, consistent investing, and the power of compound growth over long periods of time. Your career is important, but your financial habits are even more important. This brings us back to rule number 5. How you use money matters more than how you earn it. Rule number 6 goes against common intuition. You should invest most aggressively when markets crash, not when they rise. The best time to buy assets is when most people are selling in fear. Yet most people do the opposite. They buy when markets rise. When prices are high, when everything feels safe, but when markets fall, when asset prices drop, they panic and pull back. Human instinct wants to wait until everything feels stable. But this approach leads to mistakes. Buy when assets are undervalued. Invest when fear is widespread, not when greed dominates. Over decades, Buffett has lived through many crises, major economic downturns, severe market crashes, global financial crises. In most cases, his response was the same. He increased his investments. He saw these periods as deep discounts in the market, great companies selling at heavily reduced prices, rare opportunities to buy quality at low cost. Meanwhile, most people panicked. They sold, they froze. They stopped investing. They missed life-changing opportunities. History shows that after every crisis, markets recover. Those who invested during difficult times were rewarded later. But this strategy requires strong emotional discipline. You must act against your instincts when the crowd panics. You remain calm. When news is negative, you stay focused on long-term goals. Truly wealthy people understand this. Most people do not. Market crashes are temporary. They come and they go, but the value of great businesses and the power of time always endure. Strong businesses will always find ways to survive. History shows that markets eventually recover, no matter how deep a collapse may seem. The highest long-term returns often come from buying assets when prices are low. Even when that decision feels frightening at the time, that is why rule number 6 is so important. Invest decisively during crises. Stay calm when others are panicking. Be willing to buy when most people are afraid. True wealth is often built during periods of uncertainty and chaos. These difficult times are not enemies. They are opportunities. For disciplined investors, many great fortunes in history were created during periods of economic hardship. Only those with patience and courage were able to benefit from them. Now we move to rule number 7. Many people find this rule hard to accept. Getting rich quickly usually requires luck. True wealth is usually built slowly, quietly, and sometimes boringly. Most people want shortcuts. They look for secret strategies. They chase exciting investment tips. They dream of turning a small amount of money into a massive fortune. In a short time, they imagine transforming $1,000 into $1 million. Within 1 year, the desire for quick success is a powerful force. It plays on human impatience, but it is not a reliable path to long-term financial security. Yes, there are rare exceptions. Some people are extremely lucky. They choose the right asset at exactly the right time. They earn enormous returns. Others succeed through entrepreneurship or digital currencies or high-risk speculation. But for every winner, thousands of others fail. They lose money. They lose confidence. They lose years of their lives. The media rarely talks about them. We mostly hear about the winners. This creates what is known as survivorship bias. It creates risky paths that appear safer than they truly are. True and lasting wealth is built quietly over many decades. There is nothing dramatic about it. It is not flashy. There are no sudden explosions of success. There is only steady progress, driven by the power of compound growth. Warren Buffett has said that he invested patiently for most of his life, and most of his wealth came later in his journey, not because he became smarter, but because time finally did the work. The early accumulation of wealth is slow, especially in the early years. You may invest for a long time and see very little progress. That can feel frustrating. That can feel discouraging. But if you do not quit, if you persist, if you maintain discipline, one day the rate of growth accelerates and the results become undeniable. Sadly, most people quit just before this turning point. They become impatient. They want immediate rewards. They chase quick money schemes and eventually return to zero. That is why rule number 7 matters so much. Accept that wealth building is a slow process. Appreciate its simplicity. Give up the dream of getting rich quickly. Instead, choose to get rich steadily. That is the only reliable path. Now we move to rule number 8. This rule challenges common beliefs. Buying a home is not always a wise decision. In many cases, renting can be the smarter choice. Society encourages us to buy early. Articles say that renting is wasting money. People say that home ownership is a symbol of success. But reality is far more complex. Sometimes buying becomes a burden. Sometimes renting and investing leads to better long-term outcomes. When you buy a home, you do more than pay a mortgage. You pay property taxes. You pay insurance. You pay maintenance costs. You pay for repairs. Much of this money does not increase your wealth. It simply disappears. You also lock up a large amount of capital, money that could have been invested. This is called opportunity cost. Many people ignore it. Imagine investing that money elsewhere. Over many years, it could grow significantly. This does not mean that buying a home is wrong. Warren Buffett has never opposed owning a personal home. He only warns against blind assumptions. Each person must evaluate their own situation, their income, their stability, their goals, their market conditions. Buffett bought his home when he was young, but he chose something affordable. He avoided extravagance. He kept it for decades. That strategy worked for him. If he had bought a very large home or constantly upgraded, his wealth would have suffered. So rule number 8 is clear. Always calculate carefully. Do not assume that ownership is the best option. In many cases, renting and investing the difference with discipline can lead to greater long-term wealth. The 9th rule is one of the most surprising rules because it goes against what society usually teaches us. This rule reminds us of an important truth. Spending money does not bring long-term happiness, but controlling money brings freedom. And freedom is the foundation of true happiness. Many people believe happiness comes from owning more things. A new car, a closet full of famous brands, a luxury vacation. These things are often seen as signs of success. People frequently confuse spending with inner fulfillment. But many years of research show the opposite. The joy of shopping only lasts a short time. When you buy something new, your brain feels excited for a moment, but that feeling quickly fades away. Soon the new item becomes familiar. Then you look for the next thing, hoping to feel excited again. Gradually you fall into an endless cycle. Feel good, feel empty, buy again. Many people spend their entire lives in this cycle. They keep chasing short-lived pleasures, but rarely feel truly satisfied. They think that buying just one more time will fix everything. But what they truly lack is inner peace and control over their own lives. True happiness does not come from owning more things. It comes from having freedom. Freedom means making choices based on your true values, not based on financial pressure. When you have saved enough money, you no longer worry about every bill. When you have enough assets, you can leave a toxic job. When your finances are stable, you can rest without feeling guilty. You can confidently support your family. You can seriously pursue your passions. Without worrying about money, you are not forced to trade your dreams just to survive. This is the true purpose of money. Money is not meant for showing off. Money exists to serve your life. But freedom does not come from spending more. It comes from self-control. It comes from patience. It comes from long-term vision. It comes from consistent saving. It comes from disciplined investing. It comes from letting your assets work for you. I have never been a reckless spender. I do not chase trends. I choose stability over appearance. Because of this, I have strong freedom in my life. I can choose my work, my time, my lifestyle. I am not controlled by financial pressure. For me, this is real happiness. Money should bring security and peace of mind. Sadly, most people choose the opposite path. They trade their future for short-term pleasure. They buy things they do not need with money they do not yet have, just to impress people they do not even care about. In the end, they become trapped. They work endlessly to pay for past decisions. Freedom slowly disappears. Stress appears. That is why the 9th rule matters. Do not use money to buy temporary pleasure. Use money to buy freedom. Save and invest consistently. This is the path to long-term happiness. Now we come to the 10th rule. The final and most important rule. Your beliefs about money shape your wealth, even more than your knowledge. You can read many books. You can understand compound growth. You can learn many strategies. But if deep inside you believe money is scarce, or that rich people are dishonest, or that you do not deserve abundance, your knowledge will not help much, because beliefs guide behavior. If you believe money is scarce, you will hold it with fear. If you believe rich people are bad, you will avoid success. If you believe you are not worthy, you will sabotage yourself. Often we do not realize this. I have seen many intelligent people struggle, not because they lack knowledge, but because of hidden negative beliefs. They make poor decisions. They miss opportunities. They waste money unconsciously. To build wealth, you must build strong beliefs believe that money is abundant. Believe that wealth is achievable. Believe that you deserve financial security. Understand that money is neutral. It is just a tool. I have always believed in discipline and long-term effort. With the right mindset, anyone can become wealthy. These beliefs push me to act consistently. Over many years, and the results came later, most people carry invisible limits. Limits they do not even notice. These limits block success more than any external problem. That is why the 10th rule is so important. Re-examine your beliefs about money. Change what is holding you back. Build a growth-oriented mindset. In the end, your mindset matters more than knowledge. Knowledge is only a tool. How you use it will determine your future.